everyone, and welcome to day 1 of the 28-day knitting challenge for beginners. I'm Marianna. I'm so excited to guide you through this journey. If you've always wanted to learn how to knit but weren't sure where to start, you're in the right place. Knitting is not just about creating something beautiful. It's about slowing down, finding joy in the process, and building confidence as you master a stitch. Today we start with the basics, the tool and yarn you'll need to begin the challenge. Let's get cozy and get started. Throughout this video, I'll walk you through the essential tool you need to start knitting, how to choose the right yarn for your first project, and a few tips to make your experience enjoyable and stress-free. By the end of this video, you will have everything you need to confidently cast on day 3. Which is when we'll pick up our yarn and needles together. Let's talk about knitting needles. For beginners, I recommend start with straight needles made of bamboo. They're warm and smooth in your hands, and they help prevent your stitches from slipping off as you're learning. A great size to start with is US size 8 or 5 millimeters. This size is comfortable to hold and works well with medium weight yarn, which is the perfect one for beginners. Another option is circular needles. Don't worry, you don't need them for knitting in the round yet. You can use circular needles for flat knitting, and they're great because the weight of your project rests on the cord instead of your wrist. Next, you'll need few basic root notions. A tapestry needle. This is for weaving in your yarn ends when you're finished. Scissors, and a small pair will do. A tape measure with inches and centimeters to check the size of your work, and stitch markers. Any kind of stitch markers will work great. This helps you keep track of specific points in your project, like the start of the row or a pattern repeat. These tools may seem simple, but they make your knitting life so much easier. Now let's talk about yarn. For beginners, I always recommend starting with medium weight yarn, also called worsted weight yarn. It's not too thin or too thick, which makes it easy to see your stitches and handle as you're learning. In your yarn, pay attention to the label. Look for something that's labeled worsted weight or category 4. And if you're feeling overwhelmed in the yarn aisle, don't worry, just pick a yarn that feels soft and comfortable to you. First project, I suggest starting with a fiber blend that you like and are of course not allergic to. Acrylic and wool are easy to work with and have a little bit of stretch, which is helpful when you're learning. Avoid yarn with a lot of texture or food, like mohair or boucle. They can be tricky to work when you're just starting out. Now that you got your tools and yarn, let's talk about setting yourself up for success. Before you start knitting, make sure you have a comfortable space to work in. A good chair, good lighting, and maybe even a cup of tea can make all the differences. Take your time as you get familiar with your tools. Practice holding your needles, holding your yarn, and this will help you feel more comfortable when you start knitting tomorrow. And don't worry if it feels awkward at first. Knitting is like learning any new skill. With a little patience and practice, it will feel natural. That's it for day one. Now you know everything you need to get started. The right tools, the perfect yarn, and a cozy setup. Tomorrow we'll dive into color theory, the first step to creating something truly magical. Thank you so much for joining me into this journey. If you're excited to get started, give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel so you don't miss day 2. Let me know in the comments what yarn you will choose for this challenge because I love to hear. Can't wait to see you tomorrow. Happy knitting, everyone!